Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host Stan Bertan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine program where I am trying to help you to spend your money wisely on a bottle of wine. Nothing worse than spending a boatload of money on a wine and you're disappointed. So that's the purpose of this program, to review wines, see how they taste, see if they're worth the bucks. My last episode I reviewed some of the Girardet wines out of Umpqua Valley in Oregon, a new producer that new to me, perhaps you know them. And the reason I even looked for them is because somebody asked for a Baco Noir, which was produced by Girardet. Baco Noir is a varietal I never even heard of. Been in the wine world a long time, haven't heard of it. Of course, as we know, the wine world is huge. Lots to learn. Not mysterious, just lots to learn. There's a difference. So, excuse me, last episode I reviewed the whites. I was very impressed with all their whites. They all rolled in at about 15 bucks. Good values, excellent wines. And I mentioned in that episode that they're looking for a producer or a distributor up in Washington State. They had one and that they lost that distributor, so now they're looking for another one. So if you're a distributor watching this program, I would suggest that you look into their wines. So we're going to start out with their Pinot Noir. Today we have 4 reds. We'll go through these. I don't want to take a lot of time talking right now because I know that your time's precious. You don't want to listen to me go on and on and on and on about things. But of course, Pinot Noir in Oregon, classic producer of Pinot Noir is Oregon. We're very used to the Willamette Valley as being a very nice appellation for this, but they do quite a bit of Pinot in the northern or the southern part of Oregon and in the Umpqua Valley. A little warmer down there. So let's start off with the 2010 Girardet Pinot Noir Umpqua Valley Barrel Select. Give you a look at the label. There you go. This rolls in at $28, which for a Pinot Noir is a very reasonable price. Let's give the glass a little rinse. Right off the bat, I notice that this Pinot is very light in color. I think if you're doing a blind tasting, you would guess this immediately as a Gamay or a Pinot Noir. I mean, this baby, you can see right through it. It's almost kind of orange-red color. Very light. Curious, this is a 2010, which was a good vintage in Oregon. A little bit, I believe, no, 10 wasn't as warm as 9. So, I'm curious what we'll get on the nose. This has that classic, at least what I get out of a lot of Oregon Pinot Noir is black tea. A lot of black tea and cherries. A lot of cherries on the nose. I get a little bit of licorice and interesting rose petal notes, which we always like in a wine. We like that little kind of red flower thing going on. Now the cherries are like baked cherries, almost like they've been cooked a little bit in the oven. They're not fresh cherries, like bite into a cherry, smell it. Now these are a little bit baked, which is curious. I get a little bit of earth, some savory elements, some herbs I can't quite put my finger on, maybe a little bit of thyme. Like the nose on this, and that's always amazes me about Pinot Noir. Maybe you're the same way as I am. By the way, I'm sitting down today. I stepped on a nail 2 weeks ago. On the head of the nail, not the point. Been struggling with that. It's getting much better. I think I might be able to run next week, which I'm excited about. But anyway, I did my last episode standing up. I got a little uncomfortable putting that pressure on that. So I'm sitting down today. Hope you don't mind. But as I was saying with Pinot Noir, it's so light but yet so intense. Incredible wine. Maybe, the intrigue about Pinot Noir, I mentioned this in the past. Some of the wine snob people get obsessed with Pinot, like it's the only possible wine that you could like, which is redunculous. Excuse me. I like Pinot Noir, not obsessed with it. You know, I know there's a lot of good Pinot out of Burgundy, Willamette Valley. There's some good ones out of California. Central Otago in New Zealand. You know, the South Island of Central Otago, excuse me. But, you know, I mean, there's a lot of other great wines too. Not just Pinot Noir, sorry, and not just Burgundy. So, let's see what we get on the palate. So, very bright on the palate, good acidity. This is a food Pinot Noir. It's not one of your, it's like some of those California Pinots where you can sit back and quaff it down like it has a little bit of Syrah and a little bit of that baby fat California sunshine. This is bright cherries, a little bit of baked element to it, like, you know, like cherries that are in a pie kind of cherries, but just with a little bit of acid thrown in. And the acid is in good balance. I'm getting that black tea element on there. The red flower notes are definitely coming through. You know, I get a little rose petal, little violets coming through. A little bit of root beer, not a lot. Black tea. Incredible how much flavor you get. I mean, this wine is light. I can see right through it easily. Excellent balance. Got that earthiness to it. A little acidity, definitely on the acid side. Yeah, I'm going to give this Pinot Noir a B+, 28 bucks, not bad. It will age. It's got a good acid and fruit combination, but it's drinkable right now, I'm telling you. Be great with food, little lamb, ham, doing Easter this weekend, doing a little ham dinner. I definitely recommend the Girardet as a complement to that meal. It needs food. I wouldn't sit around and drink this, like I said, by itself. So I'm going to give it a B+, and let's move on. The infamous Baco Noir. I didn't know where to put this in the lineup. How do you know where to put a Baco Noir if you've never tasted one before? Now, I heard that Baco Noir, I read that it can be done in several different ways. This has good concentration. I can tell right off the bat it is staining the glass. When I dumped it out on the rinse, I mean, it is staining the glass. This may not be done in a Pinot Noir style. Definitely heavier color. You probably can't see that, sorry. But yeah, definitely a garnet, ruby, almost ruby red color. It goes to a little lighter red on the rim. But yeah, very dark. Not sure if this is done in a Pinot Noir style. They do a little bit of Baco Noir in the Central America over to the East Coast. I'm really curious about this one. Well, let me show you the label. Excuse me. Girardet 2012 Baco Noir, Umpqua Valley. This rolls in at the same as a Pinot, $28. There you go, Baco Noir. I'm excited to try this. I've never had a Baco Noir, at least not that I remember. A lot of blueberry on the nose. Almost like a meaty element, like stewed meat, but the blueberry comes through very, very prominently. A little stinky, which I like. It's got a little perfumey. It smells a little like it's got a little alcohol on it. I get a little alcohol in the nose, which is curious. Let's see. Okay, it's 13. Not super heavy on the alcohol. I just get a little bit of that. A little bit of licorice. kind of a plum blueberry thing going. I like the nose a lot. Let's see what we get on the palate. My first time tasting a Baco Noir. What I'm noticing about Girardet Winery, their wines have good acidity. And when you have good acidity, you have it really pops the fruit notes. I get the blueberry, I get the plum. Well, it's like a red-black plum kind of combination. I definitely get the licorice, almost like a red-black licorice. So you get a little red-black fruit going on in this. The blueberry is prominent on the palate, start to finish. Good flow, good balance. It is bright in the mouth, but it's not like, it's like a really good, like, you know, like, I'm trying to describe the brightness of it. It's like, it's not overbearing brightness. It's just, it lifts the fruit to a different level. Like it doesn't, it's not what you call fat or plush or any of that, but it's got good, bright fruit, bright licorice, bright plum, bright blueberry is there all day, and the finish, it just lingers. And I'm telling you right now, if I were doing lamb with a little mint sauce this Easter, I'm telling you, this would knock it out of the park. Now, I don't know how easy this is to get for you. If you're up in Washington, forget about it. I'm going to put a link. In the white, I put a link to their website. I'll put a link to this one also. Maybe you can get a bottle sent your way. I don't know. You can always look it up on the computer now. Girardet.com. See if you can get a bottle of this Baco Noir. I mean, 28 bucks. It would knock the lamb. It would be perfect with lamb. I'm just telling you right now. Yeah, I get that rose petal, kind of that earthiness to it. Great bottle of wine. I'm going to give this a B+, A-. I think it's a great bottle. 28 bucks. It's a good value. You can lay this down easily. I wouldn't be afraid to lay it down to 5 to 10 years. Good bottle of wine. Hopefully I put it in the right spot in the lineup. Let's move on. Don't have to use that much to rinse. What's wrong with me? Now we have the 2010 Girardet 14 Vines Red Blend, 2010 Umpqua Valley. This rolls in at $14. Kind of a cool label. See that there? Okay, they sent me a spec sheet with this. I will just read it to you. Let's see if we can find it. So this is the 14 Vines. It is a blend of, the wine is a tribute to Philippe Girardet's first wine in 1982, which blended 14 different varieties. The current blend has been refined by Marc Girardet and consists of the following 11 grapes: 33% Zin, 21% Syrah, 17% Landau, 6.5% Pinot Noir, 6% Cab, 5% Chancellor, 4% Merlot, 3% Tempranillo, 3% Maricol Faux, 1% Dichonac, and 0.5% Gamay Beaujolais. Wow. Wow. So I haven't even heard of some of those grapes. I got to start doing some research. Definitely going to hit the books on that. So this is a kitchen sink blend all the way. Marc Girardet obviously went from 14 to 11 grapes and kept the name 14 Vines. It's okay. It's his winery. He can do what he wants. Let's see what we get on the nose. So it's a little grapey on the nose. Leans on the blackberry raspberry side. Has almost an olive licorice element to it. Very intriguing. It is light, not as light as the Pinot by any stretch, but it's definitely between the Baco Noir and the Pinot. You can see through it, almost a reddish color, a little orange on the rim. Oh, the glasses are singing again. Gonna get a little orange peel coming through on the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. Wow, now this is definitely the most acidic of the bunch I've tasted so far. Bright raspberry, blackberry, almost underripe blackberry. I get a little savory element underneath, a little earth, a little herbal component, but it's hard to identify which herb because the acid is so high in this. Whoa. Little blueberry, a lot of raspberry, a little bit of cherry notes coming through. Very, very acidic. This is for the acid freak out there, the guy that really likes his wines to be just burning with acid. It's a little too much for me. I mean, it's a good wine. It certainly is bright, good fruit. I would say it's a little out of balance with the acidity. It's $14, not a bad price. I'm telling you, the profile of these wines, there's definitely a commonality of all these wines in the acid, but this one just kind of tips the scale a little bit on the acid side. I'm sure the alcohol, it's 12.9. You know, some of you are going to like it, some of you aren't. I'm kind of on the fence with this one as far as the acid goes. I'm going to give it a B-. I think it's definitely above average, but not, you know, definitely not phenomenal. Excuse me, where did that come from? Let's move on to the next one. I'm guessing we're going to get some acid on this one too. So this is the 2000, let's see, maybe this is non-vintage. No. 2011 Touchdown Red, Umpqua Valley from Girardet. Kind of a fun little label here. Again, I'm going to go to, oh, it's right on the back here. I don't have to go to the spec sheet. This is 22% Lando Noir, 22% Chancellor, 18% Zinfandel, 14% Tempranillo, 11% Syrah, 10% Martial Maricol Faux, and 2% Pinot Noir, and 1% Gamay Noir. Wow, these guys really go at it. This is $15. Already poured it. Pay attention, Stan. Let's see what we get on the nose. So this is kind of perfumey on the nose. I'm getting a little licorice, a little plum. Almost like a banana component. There's definitely a boysenberry currant thing going on. I get a little bit of orange peel, which is interesting. Let's see what we get on the palate. Once again, I was right on. Good acidity. This isn't as high in acid as the 14 Vines. I get a little bit more of the boysenberry, blueberry, raspberry thing going on, a little bit of currants underneath. Definitely lifted up by that acidity. You have to really like acidic wines. But, like I said, the only one that really was, in my opinion, was a little out of balance was the 14 Vines. This Touchdown Red comes in a little bit lower than that, has more fruit. Yeah, very fresh, very lively. Little red flowers coming through. These are all food wines. None of these wines really, you would sit down and just watch a movie, watch American Idol, whatever you do, and just drink this wine. Some of you might. I know some guys out there, my good buddy Matt, who now owns a distillery up in Bellingham, would love these wines. He could drink these all day. It's not rip your face off acid, except maybe the 14 Vines a little heavier. This has good balance. I like it. It's 15 bucks. They're very reasonably priced wines. And for you guys that like kind of your wines a little brighter, this is not for the Napa Valley plush, silky smooth wine drinker. This is for guys who are looking for something to go with food, to go with your pizza, your hamburger, your barbecue chicken, your lamb, your steak. These are perfect wines for that. And once again, just a shout out to any distributors up in Washington State looking for a good lineup of wines at great prices. Look for Girardet. I'll link up their website on the video, also on my episode last time with the whites, and good wines. Thank you, Girardet, for sending me these samples. I'm impressed with your wines. I'm going to give your Touchdown Red, the airplane. The airplane's touching down for you aviation guys. I'm going to give you a B+. Thanks for watching. Here's to keeping the snob out of wine. Cheers.